My doorbell camera recorded the HOA president, measuring the snow tracks left by my heavy-duty plow truck at 6:14 a.m. on a Tuesday. She was standing in 3 inches of fresh powder, using a yellow tape measure to document exactly how far my tires had rolled onto the community green space while I was clearing the neighborhood roads. She fined me $400 for, quote, landscape degradation, unquote. She thought she was asserting her authority. She did not realize that I am not a contracted vendor. I am the only resident who owns a plow, and I had been clearing those roads for free for 5 years out of sheer neighborly goodwill. So I paid the fine, and then I parked the plow. 5 days later, the worst blizzard in 4 decades buried the community under 40 inches of snow, and their only road completely disappeared. But I am getting ahead of myself. To understand how a petty fine turned an entire luxury development into a frozen, inescapable island, you need to know who I am, why I plowed those roads in the first place, and exactly what happens when you punish the only person keeping you dug out. My name is not important. What matters is that I am a 42-year-old heavy equipment mechanic, and I live in the final house at the absolute dead end of a steep, winding neighborhood called Alpine Ridge. Alpine Ridge consists of 64 custom homes built onto the side of a mountain. There's only one road in and one road out. I own a modified 3/4-ton diesel pickup truck with a hydraulic V-plow mounted to the front. I built it myself. Because I live at the top of the ridge, I have to plow my way down to the main highway anyway. For 5 winters, I just kept the blade down and cleared the entire neighborhood road on my way out. I never asked for a dime. I operate by 3 personal rules. Rule 1, help your neighbors when you can, because winter does not care about property lines. Rule 2, if someone hands you a contract, read every single word before you react. Rule 3, never beg someone to accept a favor they do not appreciate. Those 3 rules are the reason my family stayed warm and safe, while an entire HOA board was forced to dig themselves out by hand. The dynamic in Alpine Ridge shifted when a woman named Linda was elected HOA president in November. Linda had recently moved from a major city. She had never lived through a mountain winter, but she possessed a deep, obsessive need to control her environment. She immediately formed an aesthetics committee and began issuing warnings for visible trash cans, holiday decorations, and firewood stacks. In early January, we received our first moderate snowfall, 4 inches overnight. As usual, I woke up at 5 a.m., dropped the plow, and cleared the winding, mile-long access road so the school buses and commuters could get out safely. Because the road is narrow and lacks a dedicated turnaround at the bottom, my standard procedure was to execute a wide 3-point turn near the entrance gate. To do this, my front tires briefly rolled onto a small patch of dormant, snow-covered grass owned by the HOA. The next afternoon, an envelope arrived by certified mail. It contained a formal violation. Notice signed by Linda. The notice cited me for unauthorized operation of heavy machinery and landscape degradation. The fine was $400, payable within 10 days. Included was a photograph taken by Linda, showing faint tire tracks in the snow on the edge of the grass. I did not call her. I did not knock on her door to explain that I had just saved the community a massive commercial plowing fee. I wrote a check for $400. I mailed it to the HOA management office. Then I detached the hydraulic plow from my truck, parked it behind my garage, and threw a tarp over it. Document. Do not argue. 2 weeks later, the local weather service issued a severe winter storm warning. They predicted heavy accumulation over a 3-day period. Recognizing the threat, the HOA management company scrambled to find a commercial snow removal vendor. Because they had always relied on my free labor, they had no existing contracts in place. They finally secured a commercial company out of a neighboring county, signing an emergency service agreement at a premium rate. The contract stated the vendor would clear the main access road once the snowfall stopped. The storm hit on a Thursday evening. By Friday morning, we had 14 inches of snow on the ground. By Friday night, it was 26 inches. The single road leading out of Alpine Ridge was completely impassable. On Saturday morning, Linda sent a community-wide email. She stated that the commercial vendor could not reach our development because the county plows had not yet cleared the main highway leading to our entrance. She demanded that any resident with a plow immediately clear the neighborhood road for emergency access. It was not a request. It was a directive. I replied to the email, copying the entire community list. I attached a scanned copy of the $400 fine Linda had issued me. I wrote one sentence. I am not authorized to operate heavy machinery on community property, as established by the board president on January 12th. Linda replied directly to me, stating that emergency situations supersede standard bylaws, and ordered me to drop my blade. I did not respond. I pulled the original HOA bylaws and verified Section 8, Paragraph 3. The board cannot compel a resident to perform physical labor or utilize private equipment for community maintenance without a signed, compensated vendor contract. Furthermore, my personal vehicle insurance does not cover commercial liability. If I plowed their road and damaged a curb or a mailbox, the HOA could sue me. I was not going to assume legal liability for a woman who had just fined me for a tire track. Evidence over emotion. When Linda realized I was not going to move the snow, she resorted to public shaming. She utilized the community Facebook group, a platform where she controlled the narrative. She posted a long, frantic message blaming me for the community's isolation. She told the residents that I was hoarding a heavy-duty plow out of pure spite, while elderly neighbors were trapped in their homes unable to retrieve medication or groceries. She framed my refusal as a malicious, calculated attack on the safety of the neighborhood. The social pressure was immediate and hostile. My phone began ringing with calls from numbers I did not recognize. Neighbors I had cleared snow for over the last 5 years left angry voicemails, calling me selfish and demanding I do my job. Someone trudged through the deep snow to my property line and threw a heavy block of ice at my mailbox, denting the metal door. I did not retaliate. I checked my security cameras and saved the footage of the vandalism. I logged every threatening voicemail and took screenshots of every aggressive comment on the Facebook page. I was building a comprehensive timeline of harassment. Then I took my snowblower and cleared a pristine path down my private driveway, stopping exactly at the property line where the HOA road began. I shoveled a perfect straight edge right at the boundary. My property was clear. The community road remained buried under 30 inches of snow. I took a photograph of the stark contrast between my clear driveway and their impassable road, and I added it to my file. Document. Do not argue. The situation became critical on Sunday morning. The total accumulation had reached 40 inches. The commercial vendor called the HOA management company and formally canceled their emergency contract, stating their equipment was not rated to handle mountain roads. With that volume of heavy, wet snow, Alpine Ridge was officially stranded. At 1:15 p.m., my front porch camera sent a motion alert. I opened the live feed. Linda and 2 other board members were standing on my cleared driveway. They were carrying heavy snow shovels. They walked directly past my front door and headed toward the back of my property, where my plow was parked under a tarp. I opened the front door and stepped outside. I asked them what they were doing. Linda turned around, her face red from the cold and the exertion. She told me that under the HOA emergency access provisions, the board possessed the authority to commandeer necessary equipment to ensure community safety. She said they were taking my plow attachment and were going to mount it to a neighbor's truck. She had officially crossed the line from a civil policy dispute to attempted grand larceny. She was attempting to seize $10,000 worth of custom hydraulic equipment from private property. I did not raise my voice. I did not step off my porch. I told Linda that the plow was my private, personal property, purchased with my own money and stored on land I owned. I told her that if she touched the tarp, I would call the county sheriff and report a theft in progress. Linda sneered. She told me the sheriff could not reach us anyway because the road was blocked. She turned her back to me and grabbed the edge of the tarp covering the steel blade. I pulled my phone from my pocket and dialed emergency dispatch. I reported 3 individuals attempting to steal heavy equipment from my property. I gave them Linda's physical description. I stayed on the line, keeping the phone visible. The 2 board members with Linda hesitated. They looked at the camera mounted above my door, then looked at me holding the phone. One of them dropped his shovel and started walking back toward the street. The other quickly followed. Linda was left standing alone by the tarp. She realized she had 0 leverage and 0 support. She let go of the tarp, cursed at me, and trudged back through the deep snow toward her house. I saved the video footage to 3 separate cloud servers. Document. Do not argue. The weather broke on Monday morning. The sun came out, but the temperature remained below freezing. The 40 inches of snow turned into heavy, immovable ice. The county plows finally cleared the main highway, but the entrance to Alpine Ridge remained blocked because the commercial vendor had canceled. The residents realized no one was coming to save them. The community was forced to organize a massive manual digging effort. For 10 agonizing hours, 45 residents, including Linda, shoveled a single lane down the entire mile-long road by hand. While they dug, I sat in my warm office and compiled my evidence package. I organized the doorbell camera footage of Linda measuring the tire track, the original $400 violation notice, and the copy of my cash check proving I paid it, the email chain where Linda demanded I perform unpaid labor, the Facebook screenshots proving her campaign of public defamation, the security footage of the mailbox vandalism, and finally, the crystal-clear video of Linda attempting to seize my private property, paired with the police report number I had generated during the incident. Case number 24-2289, attempted theft of equipment. I drafted a formal letter to the HOA management company and their corporate legal counsel. I attached the entire evidence file. I cited 3 specific state laws Linda had violated, including targeted harassment, extortion, and attempted larceny. I stated that if Linda remained on the board, I would immediately file a civil lawsuit against the Homeowners Association for creating a hostile environment and failing to protect a resident from board overreach. I sent the package by certified mail. Evidence over emotion. The corporate legal counsel for the management company reviewed the footage and the documentation. They immediately recognized the massive liability Linda had created for the association. A board president attempting to steal private property on camera is indefensible in any court. The management company called an emergency, mandatory town hall meeting via video conference. 62 of the 64 households attended. The corporate attorney informed the community that the board had acted recklessly and illegally. They presented the facts regarding the initial fine, confirming that my plowing had been a voluntary, unpaid favor that saved the community an estimated $15,000 a year in commercial snow removal fees. The community reaction was brutal. The neighbors who had previously yelled at me turned their fury entirely on Linda. They realized her petty obsession with a tire track had caused them to spend 10 hours shoveling heavy ice. Linda was forced to resign her presidency immediately to avoid a civil lawsuit. The management company formally refunded my $400 fine, issuing a check accompanied by a written apology signed by the remaining board members. The HOA was forced to sign a permanent winter maintenance contract with a heavy-duty commercial vendor located 2 counties away. The premium rate for guaranteed emergency mountain access was exorbitant. To cover the cost, the board had to pass a special assessment. Every homeowner in Alpine Ridge saw their monthly dues increase by $180. Linda put her custom mountain home on the market the following spring. She sold it at a loss to a nice couple from the valley. I still live at the top of Alpine Ridge. When the snow falls, I start my truck, engage the hydraulics, and drop the blade. I plow my private driveway until it is perfectly clean. When I reach the property line where the HOA road begins, I stop. I lift the blade, shift into 4-wheel drive, and drive over the snow. They pay a commercial vendor for the road now. I only maintain what is mine. On Showy True Tales, we do not chase drama. We document it. Document, do not argue. I want to hear from you. What would you have done in my position and why?